All right, thanks everyone for joining us this morning. Please use the raise hand function and wait for me to call on you for questions. JJ, you can get us started.
Jeff, how do you think the team will respond coming off of this bye week after the non-conference play?
Well, if you're not excited to play, we got issues, right? I mean, we got a first conference game for us, first conference game for them. So I expect our guys to be, excited and ready to prepare today and go out to Philadelphia and get conference play started off.
Greg.
Jeff, you mentioned last week a lot of things that you identified that you want to have to fix. How do you feel about the progress you guys have made attacking those areas through this week?
We weren't real physical last week, to be honest with you, Greg. We practiced, but it wasn't like we were padded up and trying to destroy each other. It was more just the execution of the smaller details and those kind of situations. So we'll know a little bit more getting the pads on, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. And obviously we'll know a whole lot more when we're on that plane coming back home.
Well, looking at Temple, they rack up a lot of time in possession. They don't turn the ball over. What sort of things are heightened for you guys when you go against a team like that?
Yeah, just like what you said. It's a good point you're making there. Those are kind of Casey's teams forever. They don't beat themselves. They don't turn the ball over. They try to run the ball with their quarterback and their running back, and they do a good job of their play-action pass game off of it. He's won the second most amount of college games right now. He's won 273 football games. He knows how to win. Brian Kelly's only coach that's won more. I think he's won 290-something games. So he did a great job at Sam Houston turning that place around. Everywhere he's ever been, he's turned it around. And we know we're going to be in for a really good football game Saturday.
JJ.
Jeff, what do they do defensively that you guys are looking at?
Well, their defensive coordinator is the same one Rice has had for all these years. So he's very familiar with us. We're very familiar with him. They're very multiple on defense. He has a lot of stuff in his call sheet, and each week you're seeing more and more and more of that show up. I'm sure with 2 weeks we'll see quite a bit more. And they did a really good job of stopping us last year. So I would imagine, a lot of those things will show up again because he did a great job last year. So really good defensive coordinator. They got really good players. Their defensive ends are very good. Got a really good linebacker, athletic in the back. They're going to be a handful for sure.
What do you think will be the key to getting Owen McCown on track in this game?
Well, it always starts with protection. We got to make sure we can protect him, and we got to get him in a rhythm and get him comfortable. And so protection and get him some calls that he likes, and get him going.
Greg.
Jeff, on Owen, where is his sort of mindset at this point with the passing game not clicking at as high of a level as you guys would have liked? What's his confidence level that you've seen?
I mean, he's a very tough kid. I mean, this kind of stuff is nothing to Owen. He'll figure it out. I mean, we got to do a better job for him, get him some easier throws, some easier completions, and that's on the coaching staff as well.
How do you feel about the overall health of the receiver group after a week to rest? I know that was under the microscope a little bit.
We'll see. We'll get back out there running full speed tomorrow. We'll walk through, tonight, go over the plan one more time. But we'll see. I don't know. Those guys have been hobbled up, it seems like now, for 2 straight years. So we'll see whoever's able to go, we'll go with. And if not, we'll put some other ones out there.
How does that impact what we see on Saturdays when those guys aren't practicing day to day or when things aren't able to build up that way?
Well, I think you can tell just by watching how the lack of efficiency we've had so far. You can just tell we're off. And it's hard to get back on when you don't practice. And I got to take care of them. I got to get them in the training room and all that kind of good stuff. But we'll play the kids that are healthy.
JJ.
Jeff, when did the wide receiver health become an issue, or has it been an issue all season long?
Well, Jamel got hurt the week of the A&M practice, so we haven't had him all year. Willie recovered from that surgery. It's just his legs never gotten right. Amador got hurt in the Texas State game. McEwen got hurt in the Texas State game. Jaron Randall, broke his finger early. Those are just things I can't come out and just tell the media everything because some of that stuff you don't want the other teams to know per se because you don't want them, not that anybody would target them, but they know if they're gimpy, they might not run certain routes. So we've been dealing with that. It seems like for 2 straight years now. But I'm hoping this 2 weeks, I'm hoping. That's all I can tell you. I just don't know. Mekhi Anderson got hurt returning the kick. I believe that was Texas State as well. So he'll be out for a little bit longer. And, it's been frustrating. AJ has remained pretty healthy, knock on wood, and he's gotten better and better each week, and we've got to do a better job of targeting him, in my opinion.
Jeff, I wanted to ask about the offensive line. You've had a good continuity up to this point, but you told us last week that your starting tackle is going to be out for a little bit. Is it just DeAndre, next man up there?
We'll see. We'll see. We've got about 3 choices we can put out there, and we'll compete this week, and we'll let the best one go.
Greg.
Yeah, Jeff, along those lines, we saw DeAndre step in at tackle, and I know that he was working mostly at guard last year. What sort of led you guys to want to slide him back to that tackle position for this season?
Well, we needed a good offensive tackle, and he's worked really hard out there, and he's earned it in practice, and he played well in the game. So, high IQ kid, high character kid. I guess you're not supposed to call them kids anymore. They get on me all the time, young men. So really excited for, the potential that DeAndre has out there. His hands are going to be full this week. If he's the one we decide to go with, these defensive ends they're a lot like Texas State's defensive ends. They're a lot like A&M's. They're very twitchy. They're long. They're athletic. So whoever we put out there at tackle, they're going to have their hands full Saturday. These guys are really good.
We talked about Ben Rios at center, another Central Catholic product out there. How have you rated the way he's handled that job so far this year at center?
Really well. I'd say he's been one of our bright spots on our offensive line. Really proud of how he's handled that. He's played very well. Excited for Ben's future.
JJ.
Jeff, what does your defense have to do this week to be successful against Temple?
It's going to be tough. These guys do a lot of misdirection, a lot of formations. They do a good job with both the running backs. Both the running backs average over 6 yards a carry, and they played Oklahoma and they played Georgia Tech. So they do a really good job getting the ball to 17. He's a really good football player, and the quarterback's a tough kid, man. He runs the ball hard. We're going to have to be so disciplined with our eyes. And it's the kind of stuff in practice, it looks really good because you can only run this stuff. We'll do the best we can to run that offense, but that's not really our offense per se. But, man, you get in the game and the speed of it's just so fast, and one kid looks the wrong way, and there's going to be somebody wide open or somebody running down the field, and it's going to look like all 11 of them play bad, and only one guy didn't follow his eyes. And you got to trust your eyes, man. You got to stay locked in. But they know that too. That's why they're doing all the motions. That's why they're doing all the shift. They know that stuff's hard on kids to keep their eye disciplined.
You faced a few teams now that are coming off of bye weeks that had 2 weeks to prepare for you. You're coming off a bye week. Is there any advantage there?
Well, I would say it's even. I don't think there's an advantage, but I'd rather it be even than the disadvantage because this is our 3rd straight team that's had half a month to look at us. So the familiarity there is the part that's not only they're getting by, you're talking about DCs that have gone against us for years. You're talking about Jim Gush at UIW all those battles we had at North Texas, that was Jim. The DC last week at Colorado State, that was Western Kentucky's guy. I mean, they know us. And then now we're going against this guy who was at Rice all these years. The irony of that is too much. And we've got to be creative and change some things up so we're not as predictable as we have been so far.
Yeah, Jeff, to that point, have you decided, are you guys tweaking anything with the way you coach coming out of the bye week?
You're always tweaking how you coach, JJ. You gotta stay ahead of the curve. And obviously we did not play well offensively last week. We played great defensively, but we played really poorly offensively. So whenever you have a bad outing, you don't want to look bad again. So you're always tweaking.
Greg.
Jeff, where do you stand with the overall evaluation of the special teams unit right now?
Oh, we're getting better. We're getting better. We were bad. We pretty much had the bar as low as we could be early, so there's no way we couldn't get better. Obviously, being on your third team punt returner, I think we found something in Bro. I really do. And I think he's going to be good back there. Petro, field goals on the road. That's not easy. Done that twice now. So Kale's punting the ball better. Recovering kicks better. So we're getting better. I understand there's frustration with penalties. We're frustrated too. But we're getting closer, and I don't think we're that far away. I really don't.
Yeah, you mentioned Bro. What led you to want to turn to him for the punt return spot, and how'd you feel like he handled that against Colorado State?
Oh, he struggled a little bit. I mean, that was a tough one, with that altitude and how much further the ball was going and how high it was and the situations he ran. And he's got unbelievable hands. I mean, he's really good at doing that. So I was shocked the ball was on the ground. But I'm sure Temple's talking about it. They're excited about it. But I feel good about him. We'll see if McEwen is able to go Saturday. We'll see if Amador is able to go. But even if they are, I'm not sure I'm going to pull Bro. I really think the kid is good and going to add a spark to our team back there.
We asked you last week about Oklahoma State, and now there's another round of speculation surrounding Arkansas. Do you have to revisit that conversation with the players, or does last week's message kind of stand in that regard?
No, we'll revisit it because it's always different for each kid because some of our kids are from Arkansas, so they know more about it than other kids. Some of our kids are from Oklahoma, so they know more about it than other kids. And all the kids on our roster talk about that kind of stuff because that's what everybody else is talking about. So, yeah, I'll address it today again and remind them that I have a long contract here, and that was intentional, and how much we love it here. And we have plans for this place deep into the future. And we're not where I want to be. Everybody knows that. I think they know how impatient I am, and I want to be at the very top of every category we have, and we're not. But Dr. Compost and I are working our tails off to try to get us there, and that's a commitment that I've made to this place, and they've made to me. It just always moves slower than I want it to, but that's a long-term plan, and I plan on being here and seeing this thing through and leaving this place a lot better. Whenever that day is that we decide we can't do this anymore. But that's a long time from today, I hope.
Anything else for Coach Traylor?
Can I ask JJ a question? Is that allowed?
Yes, sir.
JJ, how are you? I know after last night, the 40-40 tie, I'm just glad to see you showed up for work today. You okay?
I'm okay. 50-50. It's a half a win, a half a tie, a half a loss.
Kind of like a Ryder Cup analogy there is kind of a push, right?
Yes, exactly.
Okay, I'm glad you're okay. Just checking on you, Bubba. God bless.
All right.
Birds up.
Thank you, Jeff.